Nintendo's new console, the Switch, releases on March 3rd. Many of you have asked, will I buy it on launch day? The answer is, I'm not sure yet. We're still 6 weeks out from launch, and anything could happen. Right now, I don't know. It's kind of conditional. I mean, it depends on a lot of things. I mean, probably the most obvious thing it depends on is, are we going to have another NES Classic Edition on our hands? In other words, will I be able to buy it if I want to? Will I be able to go to a store and buy a Switch on day one? Or is it going to be sold out everywhere for weeks on end and no one can find it? So it's going to depend on Nintendo's supply and how in demand this sucker is. But assuming I can get one if I want one, would I buy one on launch day if it could be guaranteed that I could get one? Still not sure. When you buy a new console, you buy it for the games. You buy it for the games that you can't get anywhere else. So looking at what games are coming out in 2017, there's really only two that I want. Super Mario Odyssey, which looks awesome but isn't coming out until the holidays, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I don't believe for a minute is actually coming out in 2017, at least not in North America. I would love to be wrong about that, but best case scenario, there are two games that I want, and they're both not coming out until the end of the year, so why would I buy a Switch in March? I seriously doubt the Switch is actually going to drop in price by next fall. I mean, unless it completely tanks. There may be a bundle next fall, but so exclusive games real quick. I'm not interested in 1-2 Switch at all. I'd play it if it were bundled in. I'd try it once if it were bundled in. Maybe I'd love it, but yeah, I'm certainly not paying $50 for it. The rest of the exclusive games are all predominantly multiplayer games. Mario Kart 8. I don't like Mario Kart. Bores the hell out of me. I know, I'm that guy. Also, if I liked Mario Kart, I would have got Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U. And if I got Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U, I would be a little ticked off being asked to pay another $60 for the battle mode that should have been in the game in the first place. Splatoon 2, again, multiplayer game, don't care. It's a cool game, don't get me wrong. I'm just not a multiplayer gamer, which is why I don't want Bomberman. Or Snipper Clips, which looks adorable, but unless that's got a really compelling single-player mode, not for me. So, yeah, not a lot of exclusive content yet. But again, 6 weeks till launch. Still waiting for that release schedule to fill out. Could have a lot more great games jammed in the schedule, so who knows. There are other games I'm interested in, like I Am Setsuna comes out in March. Dragon Quest 1 and 8, Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, I'm sorry. Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, not announced for North America, but seems likely. There's a couple others, Rime, Siberia 3. I don't need a Switch to play any of those, though. They're available on other platforms that I already own. Oh, Zelda Breath of the Wild, of course, also available on the Wii U. The point being, while I'm interested in playing these games, I don't need a Switch to play them. So, again, we're getting into conditional stuff. Like, it depends on how they compare to the versions I can get on other consoles. Zelda, for example, according to Nintendo, it's exactly the same experience. The Switch just has a slightly higher resolution, 900 versus 720, and has better environmental sound effects. Okay, well, if that's all there is to it, and that's true, then the Switch version is superior, and that's certainly the one I would prefer. Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. I've seen footage of the Switch version, and it's graphically inferior to the PS4 version. But it might be cheaper to buy the 1 and 2 bundle than it would be to get them individually on the PS4. That's a consideration. Also, Square Enix announced that the the Switch version will have rebalanced something. They said they're rebalancing the difficulty or something. That may be better, that may be worse, who knows. Apparently it has an exclusive character, Ragnar, I think they said, who's from Dragon Quest IV. But the interesting thing they said is the Switch version will have HD Rumble, which you'll be able to feel the enemies that you smack with a sword. So if you smack a slime with a sword, it'll feel like jelly. If you smack a metal slime, it'll feel like metal. That sounds kind of neat. It could also be really annoying. Not sure yet. But that kind of goes for games I'm interested in playing. Well, they might have features exclusive to the Switch, which makes them more desirable to buy on the Switch. But we don't really know what any of them are at this point, so it's kind of early to say. But for launch games, the only thing that's been announced for launch, and apparently there's only 6 titles announced so far, the only one I'm interested in is Zelda Breath of the Wild. And it appears to be slightly better than the Wii U version, so that's good. But it also comes down to what I think of the Joy-Con controllers. I'm certainly not paying $70 for a Pro controller, so if I don't think the Joy-Con controllers are comfortable, I might prefer playing it on the Wii U, even in a slightly lower resolution. So, we'll see after I head to Best Buy at some point, or Fry's, or somewhere, to try out a Switch demo unit and see how comfy I think the controllers are. Also, I am a cheapskate and staunchly refuse to pay $60 for any video game, no matter how awesome it is. So, if I buy a Switch at launch, if I can buy a Switch at launch, the only reason I buy it at launch is Zelda. As long as I like the controls, and if I can find Zelda for $50 or less. If I can't find a deal on Zelda, then I'm not buying Zelda at launch, which means that I'm not getting the Switch at launch. Unless another launch game is announced between now and launch that I really want. So the answer to the question that so many of you are seemingly interested in, will I get a Switch at launch? I don't know yet. I mean, probably, because I'm a crazy Nintendo fanboy and I'm like that, but maybe not. It depends. I don't know. We'll see.